So for the past few days, we've been having some really cold weather, as low as like minus 40 degrees Celsius, which is really cold. And a few days ago, I had my 4Runner parked outside here, just because I needed my garage for something. And when I went to start it, it started up no problem, but I noticed that my temperature gauge started going up really quickly and it started overheating. So I shut it off and immediately I thought, oh no, I think my coolant might be frozen. And that's exactly what happened. So I went to the front of the car there and there was a big puddle of coolant on the ground. You can still see some of the pink there in the snow. So since then, I put the 4Runner back in the garage. It's been there for a few days, so it's nice and warmed up. So let's go to the garage and I'll show you guys what happened as well as how I'm going to fix it. So there's a big puddle of coolant there from when it was leaking. And in here, you can see there's coolant everywhere, all over my battery. Just a big mess, basically. So what happened was, when I popped the hood, I noticed it was leaking just a little bit right here. So I think it pressurized and it was just basically pushing through the seal here. But the most of it came out of the reservoir here. So this is pretty much empty now. It all came out. And when I pulled this out, it pretty much leaked all out of this hose and it was just shooting a bunch of steam out of it. So I think what happened was somewhere in here, the coolant was frozen. It wasn't like frozen solid. I think it was just kind of slushy. So it wasn't flowing properly. So I think it just pressurized and then it just started shooting out of here and dumped a bunch of coolant everywhere. So I don't think I actually damaged the radiator and hopefully I haven't damaged anything else. So I could probably get away with just flushing the coolant, refilling it, and that's it. But I am actually going to change the radiator because I bought a new rad like a year ago. I was planning on replacing it and I've just been putting it off all this time. So I figured now is kind of the perfect time to do it. So I am going to replace it and then we'll refill it with some coolant. Now for the coolant, this is the stuff that I had in my car. It's this OEM brand, not like OEM Toyota, but it's called OEM. And this is a 50-50 mix, okay? And it says it's pink, it's specifically for Lexus, Toyota, and Scion. And on the back here, it actually says that it guards against radiator freeze up down to minus 37 degrees Celsius. So I don't know if I can necessarily blame the coolant because it did get colder than minus 37. I think it was like minus 39 or even 40. If it freezes at 37, then, or below 37, then I guess it's not really the coolant's fault, right? It was just too cold. So I think what I'm gonna have to do next time, like once I replace the rad, I'll have to buy some concentrate and just mix it myself with the water. This is a 50-50, so I'm thinking maybe I do 60-40, like 60 antifreeze, 40 water. I don't know, we'll see. So let me show you the radiator that I got and then we'll get to work. All right, so here's the new radiator that I'll be installing. I got this one from Amazon. It's just a cheap one. I don't know the brand name or anything. I'll link it in the description below. It's actually shorter in height than my current radiator. And I'll have a separate video on that, just talking about why I went with the shorter one. But for now, let's go ahead and get this installed. All right, so I have this antifreeze tester here. It just checks the freezing point as well as the boil over point of your coolant. So let's just test it and see what it says. All right, so this tester only goes up to, for the freezing point, goes up to minus 43 degrees Celsius, which is, I guess, minus 45 Fahrenheit. And my pointer is just past that, so I'm guessing it's going to be roughly like minus 50 degrees Celsius, which is perfect. It's never going to get minus 50 here, but it does get close, so I think that's a good place to be. So I can just put this back in here. And then I'm just going to close this up and just go for a drive, make sure that nothing's leaking, make sure I don't overheat, and we'll be good. This can be a reminder for you guys too, if you do live somewhere where it gets really cold, especially in the winter time, just get one of these or take it to a shop or something and get your coolant tested. If you don't have the right coolant in there, you can run the risk of freezing the coolant, and that's not good. You can destroy your radiator. And if you leave it long enough, you can even destroy your whole engine. So, you don't want to do that. So I've been driving for about 20 minutes now, and everything seems to be good. My temperature gauge is exactly where it needs to be. I also pulled over and just looked underneath. I didn't see any leaks or anything, so we should be good to go. That pretty much wraps up this video, guys. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.